Well, a very good morning to you from wherever you're watching us, and welcome yet to another interesting edition of the Candid Talk. Well, my name is Evans Okinyi. Now, joining me to understand and dissect Kenyan politics is none other than Professor Herman Manyora himself. Prof, how are you?
Thank you. I'm good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Prof, it's been long. I remember the last time
You went to the village. You think a man cannot go and stay in the village. This life is difficult for a man.
No.
You go and see your mother for only 2 days and come back to this Nairobi to look for money.
No, Prof, I happen to have registered in the village. So I had to go back there and
Did you
exercise.
vote?
Yeah, I voted.
Wisely.
I voted, and I still wonder why these markers never left.
Mine is now off.
Yes,
Continue.
it's off. Mine is there.
Yes.
So, Prof, well, today I would like us to focus on the postponed elections,
Okay.
especially in Mombasa County and Kakamega County.
Yes.
Now, what do you read from the Commission's decision to postpone elections in these areas?
I thought it was natural, but because there are errors, there are mistakes, they happen. The Commission has the power to postpone an election. I thought it was normal until I began looking at this thing and listening to people saying it was perhaps deliberate to cut down on Raila's numbers. It could have merit or not. So either it was a normal postponement or it was to cut down Raila's numbers. Now, what seems to add credit to this idea that it was aimed at robbing Raila of his numbers is the fact that then again he comes to suspend. He gives a date, then he comes to suspend. Indefinitely. From 23rd, indefinitely, until people made noise. So people were saying, he hopes, he seems to be working in cohorts with Ruto. Therefore, he hopes Ruto will be sworn in. Because the moment Ruto is sworn in, and then you go into a by-election, it's like a leaked exam. Certainly Malala and the other guy will win. Yeah.
So
That is the talk in town.
So you read some mischief from the second postponement of these elections?
The second postponement would have been normal had it not been for the fact that he left it in abeyance. Indefinite. So people are saying, until Ruto is sworn in. And then it will be a foregone conclusion as to who wins.
Now, Prof, I listened to the chairman of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, Mr. Wafula Chebukati's pronouncement during the time when he was unveiling William Ruto as the president-elect, and he stated clearly that despite the intimidation, the threats, and everything behind the scenes, he still has a constitutional duty to perform. And that is why he came forth and gave his announcement. Those were his words. But then when he was postponing this, he said that he decided to postpone it from 23rd until further notice because of threats and intimidation and also. So is this a person speaking from both sides of the mouth, or what do you read from his statements?
It's difficult to believe Chebukati. You are bold enough to say, despite everything and threat to life and policemen and arrests and what have you, I'm going to do my job at almost personal risk. Because there had been physical, even violence there. And then in a far removed county of Kakamega or Mombasa, you say there are threats and intimidation. That is cheapness. I don't buy that. And that's why people forced him, told him now. They went to court and they realized he will not win this one. So he fixed it for 29th. So let's hope it will go well.
But even these discrepancies that were stated in the ballot boxes, the gubernatorial ballot boxes, actually, there was a party that actually went all the way and monitored and saw how printing was being done overseas. Yet they came and said that everything was okay, only for Chebukati to come up with this statement. Do you think that the IBC failed at some point?
It is not believable. Nothing from Chebukati is believable because when me, I'm a publisher and I print things. You don't inspect the actual books. So you don't inspect the actual ballots. Neither do you wait to be surprised by a ballot. There are proofs. The image of what is going to be printed. And it will not change. You cannot have 10 candidates on a ballot paper, then you find 12 or 8. No. Because what you are approving are proofs. You design You know, you have given the people what you want is the name of the candidate, the party, and the place to tick, running mate, all that kind of thing. So they look at it, then they give you a sample. Let me use a simpler word. They give you a sample of what the ballot paper will look like. Then you sign. You must sign. I'm a publisher and a printer, I know. So you sign against that. That is what they will print. No, it cannot be they will print something else. No. You know, a book you can understand because from page 1 to page 210, something could go wrong inside. Eh? Transposition or something. No, it's possible. Some page may, you know, the pagination may go below the margin because it's 300 pages, 200 pages. But one ballot paper, one. And you have signed on it. You have seen Malala, Baraza, I don't know, some other fellows there, wanna be 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have signed. How can in the printing something like that? No, it's not possible. They lie. That printer must be the most useless printer. And no printer can do that. And you see, the modern printing is also different. You cannot say in the process of doing the filming or preparing the plates, that offline of printing that people used to do. This is camera to print. You know? So from the computer state, it prints. It cannot be anything else. It can only be that for which it can't be anything else. No, it cannot. The old form of printing of Lido, it was possible to make a mistake, but not the current printing. You cannot. No, you have approved. What you have approved as a sample is what you will get.
So you read some sort of
that was malice, yeah,
and malice in all this.
Yes.
Now, Prof, already the IBC has gazetted 29th of this month for these elections, including even the parliamentary elections in Kacheliba and all those other areas, naming Rongai, and all those other areas where elections did not take place.
Yes.
Now, do you think the postponement of elections in Kakamega and Mombasa could in any way affect the outcome of the gubernatorial elections come 29th of August?
Of course. When you know the momentum, the momentum is lost. Interests have changed. Some people were going to vote for governor, not necessarily for governor. They were going to vote for Raila or Ruto. So you are just incidental. So a person like that may not see the interest. The turnout cannot be the same. Because in a general election, and that's the problem of postponing an election, the governor shall be elected in a general election. You see now?
Yeah.
Now, the meaning of a general election is that in our constitution, there are 6 positions are being, and they have a way of influencing each other. So that somebody who is going to vote for an MCA, that's the only person he knows, will end up voting for the others. You see now the turn-up is going up.
Yeah,
and you can play it vice versa. So, Malala and Baraza are going to suffer from absence of their presidential candidates on the ballot. Okay? The members of parliament have now been elected. Their interest in the election may not be as what it would have been. So, collectively, all these things render what is going to be done on 29th of August not a general election. It's not a general election. It's just another like a by-election. And therefore, it may favor some people, it may not favor others. The dynamics, of course, again will determine between Malala and Baraza who carries the day. Yeah.
Now, Prof, do you think the voter turnout could be affected? Because I believe that there are a number of people, let's take for instance Kakamega County,
Yes.
Balon Mombasa being a metropolitan, but then focusing on Kakamega, there are a number of residents there who actually reside in the cities but then go back, vote back. Do you think these people are still going
Those
back?
are some of the things. The problems you have when you postpone an election, the problems you have with a by-election, the problem you have with a rerun. I went to vote. I flew to Kisumu. You think it's easy for me again to go and vote for a governor if there was something in my county? There are people, you went home.
Yeah, definitely. I went home.
You used your fare.
I used my fare.
If it is being done, are you likely to go again?
I can't go back.
So why are you asking that question? Why are you asking? You know, it can't be the same. Many things have changed. That's why turnout in by-elections are very low. You can't hold factors constant. Many things change. and they will affect the candidates. Some of the candidates, they are about 4 members of parliament. There's I think MCA is 1, then 4 parliamentary, then 2 gubernatorial. Somebody is going to lose this election, yet they would have won it. That you can take to the bank. Somebody is going to become governor, yet they will not have become governor. Somebody is going to be MP, yet it was not him who was going to have won on the 9th of August. So you are right. Many things change, affecting things like turnout.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Now, Prof, as things stand right now, William Ruto is the president-elect. Definitely now, looking at places like Mombasa, previously you could say that it was a round 1 win for Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir. But right now, do you think that perhaps the people of Mombasa would rally behind Hassan Omar and say that perhaps they do not want to go into the opposition as things stand right now?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying since we started. There was no competition between that name I can't pronounce. You say Abu?
Abdul Swamad.
Abdul Swamad. Let me call him Nasir, my friend.
Yeah, Nasir.
Nasir was going to whitewash Omar Hassan. There was no contest between the two. But now there's a contest. That's all I can say. There was no contest. Nothing. Hassan Omar could not even have gotten 20% of the votes. 2030, forget about it. But now there's a contest. Any one of them can win. Of course, because of the politics of Mombasa, Nasir has an upper hand. Because really, basically, Hassan Omar is an activist, a busybody. But now the dynamics of Ruto being president-elect will propel him to a serious candidate. He wasn't a candidate. He wasn't a serious candidate. No. Now he's a serious candidate. But I think Nasir will still beat him.
Okay. Now, for a long time, these areas have been Raila Odinga's strongholds. Do you think it still has influence that perhaps could propel and give people hope to vote in the Azimio candidates in these areas? One, Fernandez Baraza, and in Mombasa, Abdul Samad Sharif Nasir?
Mombasa and Kakamega have been Raila's strongholds. And indeed, the election of 9th proved the same. They are still his strongholds. Ruto did much worse than people had said he would do. Raila almost maintained his numbers, lost just about by 10 or so percentage points. But you see now with having a president-elect from UDA, that has an impact on the ground. It will certainly eat into Baraza's numbers and eat into Nasir's numbers. Certainly. You can't avoid it. It will. One only hopes that, for them rather, one only hopes that the impact of that president-elect will not be devastating to them. Because it can be devastating. You have seen people beginning to troop to Ruto. You've seen people. People are crossing over.
Yeah, I've seen things.
Yeah, and that can be also on the ground. So Baraza and Nasir will really have to work extra hard. They are lucky this is not being done after the swearing in of Ruto if he wins. And that is being done before people move in drafts. So they can still salvage the situation.
So you still see...
Nasir will still win. Baraza could still win. Chances of Baraza winning are 55%. Against 45, 45. Nasir has a slightly higher chance because his opponent is not a serious candidate.
Okay, now, finally, immediately after the postponement of the elections the gubernatorial elections in Kakamega and Mombasa, I read a tweet by Ahmed Nasir, senior counsel. He said that the outcome, or rather the results of this actually will depend on whoever wins or whoever is announced the president.
The results of?
He said, okay, Ahmed Nasir said that whoever wins the Mombasa and Kakamega gubernatorial positions depends on whoever is announced the president.
Yeah, it does. It does. But you see now, this victory of Ruto has been contested. So the damage is not as much. The observation is right, but the damage is not complete because the victory has been challenged in the court. So people are still hopeful that Raila will carry the day. As the other side hopes Ruto will maintain his victory. But if it was that yes, it is Ruto, certainly those observations will be correct to the letter. And no way, you could not win. If Ruto had been sworn in and you go for an election, you are a baraza, forget. If you have resources, just keep, don't use. You not win. No, you not win.
Okay. Well, I think that's a very good point to wrap up this conversation. But as we always say, please do not fail to subscribe to our channel so that you may help us read our wider coverage. Otherwise, for now, allow me to stop at that point. I've been your host, Evan Sokenyi. Till next time.